It started as a joke between me and an old coworker, back when we were young enough to dream recklessly. One day, he'd say, "I'm gonna disappear into the mountains. Build myself a cabin. Talk to elk instead of managers." I'd laugh, thinking mountain life was for legends, not factory workers. But as I aged, the thought grew roots in me. A cabin. In the woods. Where no one needed anything from me. Where no one slammed doors or shouted for attention. Where no phone rang with demands. Where guilt didn't wake me at 2 a.m. Where I belonged to myself. When I finally retired, the company threw a generic cake party. A bland sheet cake with, "Congrats, Raymond," written in red icing. The kind of party they give to everyone, even the people who quietly resent them. But as I drove home that day, I didn't feel sadness. I felt something like relief. I was free. My daughter called that evening, her voice warm, almost proud. "You deserve something beautiful, Dad." And for once, I allowed myself to believe her. I spent 3 months searching for that. Something beautiful. Until one morning a listing popped up online. Small 800 SQFT cabin. 12 miles outside Cody, Wyoming. Secluded. Mountain views. The picture stole my breath. Pines framing the cabin like guardians. A distant stream glistening like silver. A porch that faced the rising sun. A clearing where elk wandered. The next day, I drove 5 hours to see it in person. When I stepped out of my truck, the wind touched my face first, soft, cool, clean. The smell of pine and earth felt like medicine. No car horns. No sirens. Just the whisper of leaves brushing against each other like old friends sharing secrets. The realtor, a bright woman named Micah, handed me the keys for a moment. "Try the door," she said. I turned the knob and stepped inside. Warm wooden walls. Stone fireplace. Small windows framing the forest like paintings. But it was the silence that sealed the deal. Silence with depth. Silence that breathed. Silence that welcomed me. "I'll take it," I whispered. I moved in with nothing but essentials, some clothes, books, simple furniture, and the old coffee maker that had survived 3 decades of my life. That first evening, I brewed coffee and sat on the porch as the sky melted from gold to violet. Elk grazed in the clearing, unbothered by my presence. A bird, maybe a finch, landed near my feet, cocking its head curiously. For once, nothing expected anything from me. My daughter Beulah called. "How is it, Dad?" "Peaceful," I said. "More than I imagined." She laughed softly. "Good. You deserve a little peace." I swallowed the lump in my throat. Maybe this was the beginning of something good. Something new. Maybe this was the first chapter of a life that finally belonged to me. But peace, I would soon learn, is the first thing people try to take when they think you owe them more. It was nearly midnight when my phone buzzed. Cornelius. My son-in-law rarely called. When he did, it was never good. I answered anyway. His voice came sharp, annoyed, like I had inconvenienced him by retiring. "My parents lost their house," he snapped. "They're moving in with you." I sat up straight. "With me? Why?" "Because they need a place. And you have one." "Cornelius, I just got here. This is my retirement place. So? Share it. I don't want roommates." He scoffed. "You're selfish. And dramatic. They'll be there next week. Deal with it." The line went dead. I sat there, the cold air pressing against my skin, the forest suddenly feeling smaller, tighter. He didn't ask. He didn't consider. He didn't respect me. People like Cornelius don't think they need to. To them, the quiet ones exist for convenience. I stared at the porch railing. My hands trembled. Not in anger. In clarity. This wasn't about helping anyone. This was about control. They didn't come to visit me when I nearly lost the house in Denver. They didn't call when I struggled with back pain or grief or loneliness. Now suddenly I was useful. A free house in the mountains?
perfect for them. And my peace didn't matter. Not to a family who only remembered me when they needed something. I stayed on the porch until dawn, trying to swallow the sting of betrayal. The worst part wasn't that they wanted to invade my home. It was that they assumed I would let them. Because Dependable Ray never says no. Dependable Ray doesn't complain. Dependable Ray doesn't fight back. Not anymore. Something in me changed that night, not a spark of rebellion, but a slow, steady fire. A fire made from 40 years of swallowed words. 4 decades of unreturned sacrifices. A lifetime of being everyone's safety net. I was tired. But for once, the right kind of tired. Not the tired that comes from working too hard. The tired that comes from finally knowing you deserve better. The next morning, I made a decision that shocked even me. I would not let my daughters-in-laws take over my peace. Not with force. Not with shouting. Not with anger. I would protect my home the same way nature protects itself, quietly, firmly, with unshakable instinct. I drove into town, visited the ranger station, and learned everything I could about wildlife patterns, wolves, bears, seasonal migrations. I bought wildlife cameras, learned how to set them up strategically, and installed them at different angles around the property. I wasn't planning danger. Just honesty. Let the wilderness be the wilderness. Let people who disrespected me learn the truth about living in the mountains. That afternoon, I walked 30 yards behind the cabin with a small bag of meat scraps I bought from a butcher. I dropped them far from the house, downwind, near the tree line. This wasn't a trap. This wasn't revenge. This was nature doing what nature does. People who don't respect the wilderness don't belong in it. I returned to the porch, exhaled, and whispered to myself, "No more. I'm done giving away pieces of my life." The next week crawled slowly. I cleaned the old Denver house, organized old books, repaired things I'd ignored for years. But every night, before bed, I checked the wildlife cameras online. Elk passing through the clearing. A fox sniffing near a tree stump. Wolves moving in elegant silence under moonlight. Beautiful creatures. Honest creatures. Unlike the ones who were coming. Friday morning, my phone buzzed. It was a neighbor near the cabin. "They arrived," she whispered. "2 older folks. Very loud." I almost laughed. The show had begun.
All my life, people called me dependable. Ray will fix it. Ray won't say no. Ask Ray, he'll handle it. Dependable. Reliable. Predictable. Words that sound like compliments until you realize they're chains. Quiet, polite chains that tighten with every favor you do for people who never return any. For 40 years, I woke before dawn, clocked into a job that drained me, and clocked out long after everyone else had gone home. I worked overtime shifts no one wanted, took holiday shifts so others could spend Christmas with their families, and handed over my own dreams in exchange for stability. I raised my daughter alone after her mother passed. I moved houses 3 times to stay closer to her school, took loans to get her into a better college, and quietly sold my own truck once to keep her from dropping out. But people don't remember the sacrifices. They remember the parts of you they benefit from. And by the time I turned 65, my body felt older than my spirit. Every bone ached. My knees cracked when I stood up. My shoulders carried decades of invisible weights, disappointments, grief, exhaustion. All I wanted was silence. Not loneliness. Silence. There's a difference. Silence is a choice. Loneliness isn't.
I couldn't sleep after the message. Jordan kept pacing the living room, running his hand through his hair, muttering that someone must be playing a sick joke. But the way his voice trembled told me he wasn't fully convinced. I replayed the voicemail 100 times. A faint breath. A whisper. A voice that sounded like Adam. Adam, Jordan's best friend. The man who died 12 years ago in a car crash Jordan never talked about. The man who was with Jordan the night he disappeared for hours and returned shattered. The night everything changed between us. For years, I thought Jordan kept his grief locked away. But now, it felt like something else was locked in there too. Something alive.
Around 3 a.m., Jordan finally stopped pacing. He sat on the edge of the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. Emily, I need to tell you something. About Adam. My heart dropped. His voice had that tone, the tone people use before tearing your life apart. What about him? I asked. Jordan swallowed hard. This message, it isn't the first time. A cold wave washed over me. What do you mean? I've been getting them for weeks. Calls. Texts. Unknown numbers. I stared at him in disbelief. You hid it from me? I didn't want to worry you, he said. Or make you think I'd lost my mind. I took a slow, shaky breath. Jordan, what exactly are these messages saying? He looked up at me, eyes full of fear. You left me there. You walked away. I'm still waiting. My stomach twisted. Left him where? I whispered. Jordan didn't answer immediately. He just closed his eyes, and one tear slipped down. Jordan leaned back, staring at the ceiling like the truth was written up there. That night, the night Adam died, he began. It wasn't supposed to happen the way the report said. What report? The police report. I froze. Jordan looked at me, truly looked, and I felt the weight of 12 years of buried truth pressing between us. We weren't just driving home, he said. We were fighting. About what? I whispered. Jordan inhaled sharply. About me. For a moment, I didn't understand what he meant. He continued anyway. Adam was furious with me. He said I wasn't living the life I wanted. That I was letting fear control me. That I was hiding from my own dreams. He shook his head, rubbing his face. He grabbed the wheel. I grabbed it back. The car spun. I crawled out, but Adam. His voice cracked. Adam didn't move. I felt tears sting my eyes. Jordan, he continued, voice shaking. I tried to pull him out, but the smoke, the fire, I panicked. I ran to the road to get help. When I came back, it was too late. He covered his face with both hands. I've lived with that guilt every day. I thought Adam was blaming me from the grave. But now, these messages. His shoulders shook. I don't know if someone is torturing me, or if Adam is really trying to say something. I moved to sit beside him, placing my hand over his. We will figure this out together, I said softly. Whoever is doing this, or whatever this is, they want something. And we're going to find out what. Jordan looked up, and for the first time, I saw something other than fear. Relief. But just as I was about to speak again, Jordan's phone buzzed on the table. The screen lit up. Unknown caller. 3:02 a.m. Jordan's hand tightened around mine. It's him again, he whispered. The phone buzzed a second time. Then a third. Finally, it stopped. A new voice message appeared. Jordan stared at it like it might explode. Emily. I can't listen. I will, I said. I picked up the phone with trembling fingers and pressed play. There was static. Then breathing. Then a faint voice. A voice that did not sound like Adam. A voice that sounded younger, sharper, and very, very alive. Jordan, the voice whispered. It's time. I know what you did. If you don't tell her everything, I will. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a ghost. This wasn't a haunting. This was a threat. Someone new. Someone who wanted to destroy him. Someone who wanted to destroy us. Jordan stared at the phone, confusion turning into horror. That's not Adam. No, I whispered. It's someone else. Jordan rubbed his forehead. But who? The answer came to me slowly, painfully, like a memory I never realized I held. Jordan, who else knew about that night? He froze. And I watched the exact moment he realized it too. His face went pale. His breathing quickened. His hand trembled in mine. Emily, there's only one person. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Who? I whispered. Jordan's voice cracked. Adam's younger brother. The moment Jordan spoke those words, the room felt colder. Adam's younger brother. A name I hadn't heard in a decade. Liam. Quiet. Angry. A boy swallowed by grief after Adam's death. A boy who disappeared from town shortly after the funeral. A boy who always believed someone wasn't telling the truth. Now a man. A man who sounded like the voice in the message. Jordan's face tightened with guilt and fear. I should have told you sooner, he whispered. I should have told everyone. But I was terrified, and Liam, he hated me. He blamed me from the start. I touched his shoulder. Jordan, this isn't your fault. What happened that night was an accident. Jordan looked at me with eyes full of 12 years of self-torture. But I ran, he whispered. That's all he remembers. At 4:11 a.m., Jordan's phone lit up again. This time, it wasn't a call. It was a location pin. A warehouse on the edge of town. Abandoned. Secluded. The kind of place where nightmares come to life. Jordan stared at it. He wants me to go there. Jordan, no. This is dangerous. Liam is unstable. I know, he whispered. But I can't run from this anymore. Not again. He took my hand. Emily. I need you to stay here. I shook my head instantly. No. If you go alone, he might hurt you, or worse. I'm coming. He wanted to refuse. I saw it in his eyes. But then he exhaled softly, defeated. Okay. Stay close to me. Don't leave my side. The warehouse door groaned as Jordan pushed it open. Inside, the cold air wrapped around us like a shroud. Old machines sat rusting. Broken windows rattled in the wind. Our footsteps echoed like distant ghosts. Liam? Jordan called out. Silence. Then, a soft tap. Metal hitting concrete. We both turned sharply. And there he was. Liam stepped out from behind a pillar. Older. Thinner. Eyes blazing with something that wasn't just anger, but years of grief turned into something darker. He held a phone in his hand. The same phone that had delivered every nightmare. So, Liam said quietly, you finally came. Jordan swallowed hard. Liam. I'm sorry. Liam laughed, a hollow, broken sound. Sorry? You left him. His voice cracked. You walked away while my brother burned. The words sliced the air. Jordan stepped forward, hands trembling. I ran for help. I swear to you, I tried to save him. Liam snapped. Liar! He pulled something from his pocket. Jordan flinched. But it wasn't a weapon. It was a USB drive. Liam threw it onto the floor between them. Play it, he said, voice shaking. See the truth. Jordan hesitated, then picked it up. In the corner of the warehouse stood a dusty old laptop. Liam motioned toward it. Go ahead. Jordan inserted the drive. A video opened. A shaky phone recording. The night of the accident. I felt my heart slam against my ribs. On the screen, flames rose from the broken car. Smoke thick. Sirens faint in the distance. And then, Jordan. Younger. Bleeding. Desperate. He crawled out of the car. Fell to the ground. Got up. Stumbled toward Adam's side. Pulled. 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 Then fell back, coughing, choking. He ran. Not away. But toward the road, waving frantically at passing cars. He didn't abandon Adam. He tried to save him. He ran for help. He came back again, screaming Adam's name, even as firefighters dragged him away from the flames. The truth hit me like a wave. Jordan wasn't a coward. He wasn't a killer. He wasn't the man he feared he had been. He was a friend trying to save another friend. Liam stared at the screen, shaking. That video, Jordan whispered. Where did you get it? Liam swallowed. Adam recorded everything that night. He always recorded. His phone was found later, burned, but the SD card survived. His voice broke. I watched that video thousands of times. But grief, it's loud. It tells you lies. I needed someone to blame. And you. His voice cracked completely. You were the easiest person to hate. Jordan's eyes softened. Liam, you could have come to me. We could have talked. Liam wiped his face with the back of his sleeve. I wasn't ready. And when I finally was, I wanted to make you feel the fear I felt for 12 long years. He sank to the floor, sobbing. I'm so tired, Jordan. Jordan stepped toward him. Slowly. Carefully. Then he knelt beside him. It's over, he whispered. You don't have to hate me anymore. Liam buried his face in his hands. I'm sorry, he cried. I'm so sorry. Jordan pulled him into a shaky embrace. And for the first time in 12 years, two broken pieces of a story finally fit back together. The sun was rising when we walked out of the warehouse. The world felt different. Lighter. Almost new. Jordan squeezed my hand. I thought I lost myself, he whispered. You didn't, I said. You were just buried under guilt that didn't belong to you. He looked at me with a softness I'd never seen before. Emily, thank you for not giving up on me. I smiled through tears. You're my home, Jordan. I don't walk away. Liam walked behind us, quiet, calm, no longer a shadow in the dark. He stopped beside Jordan. I want to fix things, he said. Maybe we can start again. Jordan nodded. I'd like that. And just like that, the ghost that haunted our lives was finally gone. Replaced not by fear, but by forgiveness, by truth, by healing. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional stories.